My friends, look at me. I want to tell you something important today. Look around you. Everyone is reacting. Someone says something and boom, people explode. Someone challenges them. They're ready to fight. They defend. They argue. They lose their peace in seconds. But here's what I've learned. Real power doesn't belong to the loudest person in the room. It belongs to the one who stays still, the one who doesn't take the bait, the one who watches the storm without becoming part of it. The Buddha told us, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Think about that. The moment you react, you give your power away. But when you master your mind, nobody can control you anymore, not with words, not with chaos, not with fear. Today I'm sharing 7 powerful lessons that will train your mind to stay calm no matter what. If you're tired of being triggered, if you want to become unshakable, stay with me. Because once you understand this, you'll never react the same way again. Lesson 1. Detachment is your key to inner power. Have you noticed how most people live? They're like leaves in the wind. One harsh word, their whole day is ruined. They fail at something small. Suddenly they're questioning everything. Why? Because they're attached to approval, attached to success, attached to what people think. We call this upadana, clinging, and this clinging is the root of all your suffering. The Buddha taught us, suffering doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how tightly you hold on to what you want to happen. You want people to like you. You want to be right. And every time life doesn't go your way, boom, your peace is gone. But when you practice detachment, letting go of expectations and control, something amazing happens. You realize nothing out there has power over your inner stillness unless you give it that power. Now listen, detachment doesn't mean becoming cold. You can care deeply, you can love deeply, but you do it with wisdom. You show up, you give your best, but you don't tie your identity to the result. Someone praises you, you don't need it. Someone insults you, it doesn't touch you. When you stop depending on anything external to feel okay, you become untouchable. You observe, you breathe, you let go. That's when true peace begins. Lesson 2. Observe, don't absorb. Let me teach you something that changed my life. The art of watching without reacting. Every day people dump their pain on you, their anger, their negativity. And what do most people do? They absorb it all. They carry it in their chest, let it spin in their head. Soon they become what they were reacting to. But here's the truth. You don't have to absorb any of it. You can observe it and let it pass. In Vipassana meditation, we train the mind to become like a still lake. A stone drops in, yes, ripples, but the lake always returns to stillness. Your mind can do the same. When someone speaks with anger, don't catch that anger. Just observe it. See it as a wave passing through their own suffering. Notice how your body reacts, but don't become that reaction. Breathe, watch. Let it rise and fall. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You're the awareness behind them, the silent observer that stays steady, no matter how loud the mind becomes. Think of it this way. If someone hands you burning coal, but you don't grab it, you don't get burned. That's what happens when you observe instead of absorb. You stay grounded. You stay light. No matter how crazy things get, you're no longer controlled by it. So next time the world throws something at you, pause. Don't react. Watch it. Breathe through it. Let it pass. Lesson 3. The power is in the pause. In every difficult moment, there's a tiny space between what happens and how you respond. Most people miss it completely, but that moment is everything. You are not that first emotion. You are not the knee-jerk reaction. You are the one who can pause and choose. In that brief moment, if you train yourself, you can take one breath, come back to your center, and ask, what's the wise response here? Not the emotional one, the conscious one. Most suffering starts because we react blindly. We say things we don't mean. We do things we regret, all because we let emotions hijack the moment. But when you insert a pause, just one breath, one heartbeat of stillness, you break the pattern. You interrupt the storm before it floods your mind. In meditation, we train this. A thought comes, but you don't act. A sensation arises, but you don't react. You pause. This rewires your brain. You learn to feel without reacting. The more you practice, the stronger your pause becomes. You learn to speak in ways that heal instead of hurt. You act from clarity instead of impulse. That's real strength. Not how fast you react, but how deeply you can pause. Because in that pause, you take your power back. And from that stillness, you move with intention, not emotion. Lesson 4, let the fire burn out on its own. When someone throws anger at you, your first instinct is to defend yourself, to push back. I understand that, but let me share what I've learned. Most fires burn out on their own if you don't feed them. Anger is like a flame. What fuels it? Your reaction, your resistance, your need to be right. But watch what happens when you don't give it fuel, when you just stand there present but unmoved. The fire flickers, gets weaker, and dies down. This is non-reaction. You're not suppressing anything. You're not avoiding. You're simply recognizing that not everything deserves your energy. When someone is angry, they're drowning in their emotions. If you jump in by arguing, you'll both drown. But if you stay on steady ground, calm and centered, you give them something better than a counter-argument. You give them a reflection of peace. I've seen this so many times. Someone comes to me filled with rage, and instead of matching their energy, I just sit with them. I listen, I breathe, I stay still. And almost always their fire begins to dim, not because I convinced them, but because I didn't add wood to their flame. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Sometimes the wisest thing is to let the fire burn itself out while you stand in your peace. Lesson 5. Silence is the language of wisdom. In this world that never stops talking, let me remind you, silence is not emptiness. Silence is fullness. It's where wisdom lives. Everyone feels the need to speak, to comment, to have an opinion about everything. But the most powerful people, they're often the quietest. They speak when their words add value. They stay silent when silence preserves peace. The Buddha himself often taught through silence. When faced with questions that would only lead to endless debate, he would simply sit in silence. Not everything needs an explanation. Not everything needs a response. Silence is not weakness, it's strength. When you choose silence, you're saying, my peace is more valuable than this argument. My stillness is more powerful than proving I'm right. People who talk the most often understand the least. They're filling space with noise because they're uncomfortable with silence. But when you become comfortable with silence, you become comfortable with yourself. In silence, you also become a better listener. You hear what people really mean beneath their words. You feel the energy in the room. This is a gift noise can never give you. Practice silence, not as punishment, but as sacred space. Let others fill the room with noise. You remain the still point, and in that stillness you'll discover wisdom that words could never teach. Lesson 6. Accept what is, transform what can be. Here's something crucial. Acceptance is not defeat. Acceptance is the beginning of all real change. When something difficult happens, your first reaction is resistance. This shouldn't be happening. This isn't fair. And in that resistance, you create suffering on top of suffering. Buddhism teaches us before you can change anything, you must first accept what is, not agree with it, not like it, but simply acknowledge this is reality right now. I've watched people torture themselves for years because they refused to accept a loss, a betrayal, a failure. They kept replaying it, wishing it hadn't happened, asking why me. And in that constant rejection, they stayed stuck. But the moment they accepted it, yes, this happened. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it's real. Something shifted. Not because the situation changed, but because they stopped fighting it. In that acceptance, they found clarity to move forward. Acceptance means acknowledging reality so you can work with it skillfully. It's saying, this is where I am. What's the wise next step? When you accept what is, you stop being a victim. You move from this shouldn't be to this is, now what? From suffering to problem solving, from paralysis to action. So when something painful happens, instead of why me, try what now, breathe with it, feel it, let it be. You don't have to like it, but you don't have to fight it either. That's real peace, and it's available right now, not when life gets easier, but when you stop resisting what is. Lesson 7. The compound effect of focused energy. Let me share the final principle. This one has guided my entire practice. Where you focus your energy, your life begins to move. And when that focus is stable, calm, and intentional, even the smallest efforts become incredibly powerful over time. But here's the problem. People scatter their energy everywhere. They get triggered by every comment, distracted by every notification. Their attention jumps from past regrets to future worries, from social media to internal drama every few minutes. This scattered attention is powerless. It keeps your energy diluted, your mind reactive, your spirit restless. I teach the opposite. Pull your energy back. Bring your attention to this moment. Train it. Sharpen it. Focus it like a beam of light. Then direct that focused energy toward growth, peace, and clarity. Do this every day, with every breath, with every reaction you choose not to have, with every negative thought you observe instead of obey. Imagine one drop of water falling on the same stone every day. One drop seems meaningless, but drop after drop, eventually that stone is reshaped. Your mind works the same way. Each moment you return to awareness, you reshape it. Each time you choose presence over reaction, you strengthen your discipline. Each time you sit in silence instead of lashing out, you build inner power. These tiny shifts compound over time. They create lasting change that becomes who you are. The more you focus your energy inward, the more peace you feel outward. The more centered you become, the less the world can disturb you. Now some might ask, but what if I fail? What if my focus slips? Simple answer, begin again and again. That is the path. Even masters have wandered in thought, stumbled in emotion, but they returned. They brought their focus back, and with every return they became stronger. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed to coming back, to your breath, to your center, to your practice. Over time, your nervous system relaxes, your reactions slow down, your breath deepens, and your presence becomes felt by everyone around you. You become the kind of person whose calmness influences others, whose silence speaks louder than noise, whose energy doesn't shift with every wind. You don't need to conquer the world, you just need to conquer this moment, fully, mindfully, intentionally, one breath at a time, one pause at a time, one act of presence at a time. So now you understand, the goal is not to control the world, it's to master yourself. Through detachment, you let go of what holds you down. Through observation, you see clearly without getting pulled in. Through the pause, you take your power back. Through non-reaction, you let fires burn out. Through silence, you become still strength. Through acceptance, you stop fighting reality. And through focused energy, you reshape your life from the inside out. This won't happen overnight. This is a daily practice, a moment-to-moment return to stillness. But the more you walk this path, the more unshakable you become. People will still try to trigger you. Life will still test you, but you will no longer be ruled by it. You'll observe it, understand it, and remain untouched. That is true freedom. That is real strength. So next time life tries to pull you off center, remember, you are the mountain, you are the silence, you are the space between what happens and how you respond, and in that space, nothing can touch you. Thank you for being here with me today. May you walk this path with courage and find the peace that cannot be shaken.